Hello, I'm Smithy and this is a Kontiki, and we've got the end of the month Ask the Kontiki, and I want to say a big thank you to everybody that sent me a question. They were coming in from everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Oh, so if I miss you out, I can only hold my hands up and say I'm sorry. I've done my best. I've got that many you wouldn't believe, but I'm going to try and answer every single question. So if I don't get to you, I apologise. I have got some on email and all over the place. So anyway, we're going to get through the most questions we've ever gone through before. But today is actually my wedding anniversary. Me and Susie, we've been married for 27 years. We've been together a lot longer, but we've been married for 27 years. So I bought Susie some presents for our, you know. Now that might not seem as daft as you think it is, and it isn't as much of a joke as you think it is. There's a guy having his wagon repaired there. Suzanne is one of the most unmaterialistic girls you could ever wish to find. If I bought Sue a big diamond ring, she doesn't have a jewellery box, but it would go in a jewellery box and you'd never see it again. And the only jewellery that Sue does wear is a pair of earrings, which I buy her a new set every Christmas, a wedding ring, an engagement ring, and I think she may have a ring that her dad had. So that's Susie for you. So anyway, we have tricked you, Susie. We're not all bad. I better not be getting squashed. So anyway, we've got you some nice roses, Susie, and we've got you these. I can't remember what they were called. It did say on the label. Just put that below the poppy because we've got the poppy on the Union Jack, which I'm quite proud to have a poppy there. Anyway, so we brought the wrong glasses out, which is usually the case. Oh, you know, I was going to do this from Lancaster Castle, and the weather was horrendous. Somebody told me they were in Motorhome, going to go fishing up Promenade, stopping on the prom. I hate wearing them. And he assured me that today the weather was going to be great, and I said, but unfortunately circumstances dictate I can't get to the castle to do the video, so it's a van life channel, we're in a van, so that's what we're doing. Let's crack on. Mark Hill comments on many of my videos. Thank you, Mark. A lot of these questions will say, you know, I hope you're well and things. I'm going to miss that out and just get to the questions so we can get through them. Hi Smithy, how often do you take your motorhome out, and what is the longest time you have been away in her? Will you be using your motorhome in the coming winter months? Mark, I use my motorhome every single day, and I mean every day. A lot of people have asked me in comments why you're not away all the time, and me and Sue look after my mother and Sue's mother. They're both suffering with dementia. My mother got dementia 3 weeks after I bought this van, and I took the decision that my mother would stay in her own house, we'd look after her, and about 3 months later Sue's mother developed the same thing. This is why in my video, my videos, I show you things that I want to be doing. So I hope that you're getting something out of it and you do the things that I want to do. I would rather spend the next 20 years looking after my mother and Sue's mother than I would going in this van touring the world, let me tell you. My mother's done a lot for me and Sue's mother's done a lot for Sue. So that's the reason why you don't see us away all the time. Which I'm not sorry about. Me and Sue were foster parents for what, over 10 years, and so when our kids left home we fostered children, and then we went to looking after my mother and Sue's mother, so we've been carers for years, so it doesn't bother me. I would rather look after my mother than I would be in this van, to be fair, but such is life. I'm not bothered. Will you be using your motorhome in the winter months? I will. God bless my grandson Callum. You know, he lives at my mother's, but he's in the army, so he's, you know, when he's on leave, he can be at he's at my mother's. So there is scope for, you know, you just never know. So anyway, let's leave it at that. Matthew Eldred, which motorhome holiday in the UK or Europe was the best for weather? Well, let me tell you, my uncle Ken, God bless you Ken, he's suffering at the minute, Ken. We once went to Mont Saint Michel and we camped, believe it or not. I don't know if you had to be in a motorhome there, sorry. We camped at Dol de Bretagne. I could be saying it wrong. We put the tents up and I swear it was that hot. We had to run the tap, put my head under it, and Ken, he was pushing me out of the way to get his head under it. And while we're there, by the way, and this is a long time ago, We're in the local pub, and so we're staying about a mile up the road. And Ken said to me, go and ask the woman what time the pub shuts. So I asked her, and she spoke a little bit of English. So what time do you close? She said, we close when you go home. I said, you know, that is my type of pub. So anyway, Ken said, what did she say? I said, she closes when we fall out the door. He said, oh, it's fabulous. So anyway, we fell out the pub. He went in his car, I followed him in mine, and all I could see was his red lights. And I said to Sue, this is a bumpy road, this, Sue. He drove in a field, I followed him, and then we walked at thing, and the next day farmer had to pull us out, which is what you should do when you're in your 20s and you're in a foreign country. Just don't tell anybody, I wouldn't do it now. Anyway, so that was the best, yeah. But we've been to France many times, me and Sue. Martin Smith, love your last name. What places do you like to visit, or would you prefer to try new places? We do like new places. Sue likes to, I wouldn't say shopping because she's not that type of a girl, but she likes to look at things that are for sale in shops, in all sorts of, mainly for grandchildren to buy them new things, but we like to tour, you know, like park on the outskirts of a city and tour the city, which we've done for London, we've done for all over the place, Paris, Belgium, you know, we've toured all sorts of cities where we've parked on the outskirts and travelled in. What modifications do you plan to do to your motorhome? I've no idea. Having a motorhome, it's like an ongoing project. If you built your own van, it would never end. You'd be going forever doing stuff. So I've no idea. Things keep coming out all the time. Anything that I can see that I like, I will buy. You know, that's me. But Susie's not like that. How are you getting on with your hobbies? If you haven't mentioned them, obviously I refer to question 1, which is I need the time. And the time I make these videos is when somebody can look after my mother and Brenda, and I can get out, do the video, mess about for a few hours doing what I like doing, and then back to the caring job. So, you know, I'm not sorry I do that. It's just things in life you've got to do. So anyway, so thanks Martin. Chrissy, hi Smithy. Do you stay on campsites, wild camp or both? Good question. I would wild camp because we've got solar panels, we've got everything to be off grid. If everything in this van fails, I can still be off grid, and I can still cook, I can still get water, I can do everything off grid even if everything fails. The only time we stayed on sites is when we've got the grandchildren, because obviously they like to go swimming and things like that before all these problems we've had, but then they like to go on the parks, and you know, so that's how we worked it. Mr. Dad's Pay 1. What is the worst weather you've been in your caravan or motorhome? He stayed at 95 mile an hour winds. It looked like a war zone. I can imagine. To be fair, you know, even if I've been drinking, I have never ever left an awning out overnight, apart from on a caravan. This motorhome, I've never left the awning out overnight. When I'm going to bed, I wind it in. It takes 2 seconds. It's just not. Obviously, Daz, you're like me. You've grown up in Lancashire. You know what the weather can be like overnight. You can have a day like today, which is glorious sunshine, and tomorrow, I thought he was taking me a picture. Tomorrow, you know, at 3 o'clock in the morning, it can be 70 mile an hour winds, so, you know. But I have seen some devastation. I think the worst I saw was at Silverdale, a campsite there, and I woke up in the morning, everybody's awning was, they were all over the place. And somebody nicked my umbrella, by the way, because we took the grandkids, they met some kids, and everybody started drinking in my awning. And one bloke said, oh, I'm going there, can I borrow your brolly? And I never saw him again. So if you're watching, give me my brolly back. David Cowley, hi Smithy, question for you. Did you plan to go away this year but you had to cancel because of COVID? No, I didn't, mate. It's, I think I went with my John to Blackpool, Windy Harbour for a couple of nights with 3 grandchildren. But apart from that, I brought the wrong glasses out with me, by the way. Oh. I was coming to see me. So no, that's what we did. So just caring is a struggle. He's waving. So that, yeah, that's what we've done. Because we're caring, you know, we don't have the option of going away all the time. Andy and Stacey, who is your favourite YouTuber who doesn't have a van? You know, it's got to be. I've just watched his video as well. Steve Wallace. I think he's just checking out if I'm making a video. I was going to say hello, anyway. Who's your favourite YouTuber? Steve Wallace. This guy's throwing me walking up and down. I think he's a Canadian, and Steve Wallace, right, will go camping and he'll use household items, which is a shower curtain and an absolute load of rubbish. He'll get his cans out, he'll get drunk, he'll cook the most ridiculous food you could ever imagine, which is just slopped in a pan. It's just so simple, basic nonsense that it's just, you know, Steve Wallace, have a look at one of his videos, and you know, he'll just, right, we're going, he'll run behind a sign, and that's him staying there for the night. So it's comedy, that's what it is, and it's pure entertainment. I love Steve Wallace. I'd love to meet Steve Wallace as well, and yeah, it's absolute comedy gold, honestly. And I don't know why he doesn't have his own TV series of what he does. I think it's fabulous. You know, you come home drunk some nights and you don't have to put some slop in pans and eat it. We've all done it, you know, when we're teenagers. You know, he's my age and doing it. And camping with rubbish, you know. But anyway, J. Charles Outdoors. Now, I do like his van, his trailer. If you could have a free trip to anywhere in the world, where would you go and why? Well, let me tell you this, right? YouTube, for me, has been a wealth of information. And if you look at Indians, in India, they must be the most hard-working people, the most inventive people I've ever seen in my entire life. You know, from a back shed, they can create the casing for a motorbike, and you know, the things that those people create, it's either work or die. It's as easy as that. And they seem to me to be the most creative people. They have two rooms, one of them they're working from, the other one they live in. You know, it's that basic, it's that simple, and that's how they survive. I'd love to go there. If I could go anywhere in the world, I'd love to go there and meet them people. My last name is Smith, I'm a worker. I've been a worker all my life, all my family are workers, we've always been workers. And they to me seem to epitomise my last name. That's a place I'd love to go. Thank you for that question. Richie Bainbridge. What devices do you use to get Wi-Fi in your van? I'm going to start getting through these questions a bit quicker now because I have got a lot. I just use my phone, and I have another phone that I use. I'll tell you a bit more about that in another question because a question asked me that. And so I just use my phone as the Wi-Fi. I get plenty of Wi-Fi on my phone, so that's what I use. And you can set it up as a hotspot and all that, and Susie does the same. The Vanisher. I hope you're still here. You seem like a go anywhere, do anything type. Would you consider an electric bicycle? I am looking into electric bicycles as we speak. It's just that for me, I think they're a bit dear at the minute, and there's no reason for a £100 bike to have an electric motor and a battery to be costing £600, £700, £800. Nowhere. So until we start to get mass produced from probably China or India or anywhere else, and then they start to be cheaper, then which will happen. I don't know why we are the last country in the world that is not allowed electric scooters. I know sadly one lady died in London buying an electric scooter. People get struck by lightning in Britain, we don't stop lightning. You know, everywhere in the world has got these electric scooters except Britain. We've got a few trial areas. All you have to do is train people and say, right, there's a scooter, you need a licence to have it, you've got to wear a helmet, if we see you being silly, you'll be stopped, fined and blah blah blah. You know, that's the way to do it, not just say, right, you're not allowed them, because obviously kids are being fined all over the place for being on them. So I don't think it's fair. So yeah, anyway. Barry Donaldson. We're waiting for the DVLA to complete registering our German import. What do you do to keep the Kontiki secure when you're parked at home? Come on Barry, I'm not going to answer all that. To be fair Barry, you know, I've got plastic windows. If somebody's going to nick the van, if somebody can go to Heathrow Airport, a brink smack robbery and nick 46 million in gold bullion, what chance has my van got? I have two ways of tracking the vehicle. An old mobile phone, which is in one of the videos, and a tracker that I bought from Halfords. I have a steering lock, and I have one or two other things that I'm not going to mention. So it could still go no matter what you do. You know, if I was doing nothing, parked up on my driveway, and I knew I wasn't going anywhere for a few weeks, I'd take a wheel off. I really would. I'd jack it up, take one wheel off, and I'd put the locking nut back on so you couldn't put a wheel on. Or let a tyre down. Roy Huller, what toilet chemical do people use and why? To be fair, right, we actually used 2 questions from Roy. Do you use an inverter? If so, what type? I use a cheap one for the TV, which is packed up, from Argos. It's a 150 watt inverter. You just plug straight in there. It charges our phones and mutes the TV. The TV was a 45 watt TV, so, and it had no problem running it. Chemical toilet. I actually use the green chemical stuff that's from the side of the canal at Garstang. There's a shop there, but there's also, you can have a meal there, so we've had a few meals there, and I go into that shop, but it's a green chemical that I use. It's environmentally friendly, and that's what it's for canal boats. Rob B, I'm going to have to turn this camera off in a minute and then turn it back on, because this turns itself off after a while. Why did you go for a smithyskontiki in the end? Do you have any other motorhomes in mind and models at the time? Kontiki. Well, what it was, Rob, this van, when we looked at it, it was the same layout as the caravan that we still own. So we were sort of, you know, I looked at Sue and I said, look at that end, you know, end lounge. And then I found out it had solar panels and it had a battery underneath each seat. So I'm getting messages still. He just had everything that we wanted. So if this van had been a Ford, it wouldn't matter to me. It was just the fact that it had what we wanted, which is everything to be off grid, and the layout is the same as our caravan, or roughly the same. So that's the reason why we chose it. And touch wood, it has never let us down in anything. So, and what have I had it now, over 2 years? I've put your question twice, Rob. Helen and Jeff on the road, I think it is. Will you be doing any more videos with cooking outside? Yeah, of course I will. The only thing is, referring to question 1, it's just having the time. The things I would love to do and show you, you know, it's, you know, I can't keep apologising enough. You know, yeah, I want to move my channel in all sorts of different ways, you know I do. But yeah, I love cooking, and I will be doing more outdoor cooking, all sorts of different things. I've got things in my mind. I go to sleep thinking, you know, like the Swedish torch, and if you know what one of them is, the cooking, the things I can think of in my brain, it never ends. But it's just actually getting the time to be able to go and do it in between looking after what we're looking after and things like that. Captain Fantastic. What size solar and batteries do you use? I think it's a 100 watt solar panel, and the batteries, I've no idea, mate. They're under each seat. They seem to be good ones. They've never ever run out. Did somebody ask me a question? What's the longest trip you've ever had? It might be later, I'm not sure. Do you run an inverter? It's the 150 watt one, Captain. Do you have a B2B charger that tops up your leisure batteries when you are driving? Do you know what, mate? I have no idea. What I do know is when the sun's out like this, the charge controller says it's charging. That's all I know. It just works. Somebody asked me, do you have a, you know, do you put money aside in case you have a problem? You have to have money aside in case you have a problem with a motorhome, as with any vehicle. So if anything packed up, we just have to go and pay and get it sorted out. But touch wood, we haven't had a problem that way. So yeah, the inverter, 150 watt, and that's all I can tell you, I'm afraid. Captain Fantastic, just thought of another question. Do you have a diesel heater in your van? I don't know. We have a blown air heating. You turn the dial, you can hear it clicking in the whatever it is in there that's clicking, and then it blows hot air out all over the van. And obviously now we're doing it cheap as chips because we've got the safe fill gas bottle, which is like £5 to fill up, as opposed to £30 odd it was before. So that saves us a fortune, and we can have the heating on whenever we want. Jason Burke, hey Smithy, we're going to get some more cooking videos and an update on your gas bottle. Of course you are. John Bateman, you've commented a lot of my videos. Did you manage to get the USB socket? Do you know what? The USB light fitting and sockets where you can plug your phone into the socket. I thought I'd bought one, I've been waiting for it to be delivered. I've gone through all my emails, I've gone through my online banking, I've gone through everything, and I can't find where I've ordered one. So I can't have ordered one. I thought I had. So I'm going to leave it for now because obviously it's not that important, to be fair. But yeah, it's something I looked at and I thought I'll have one of them. And I thought I ordered it and I obviously didn't. So, but anyway. When this goes away. So, Urban Fox 53. Sorry about the coughing now and again, I am old. Hi mate, would you love being on a narrowboat? Peace and quiet, beautiful countryside. and only 4 miles an hour. We had a cruiser many years ago. To be fair, it was touch and go between this and a narrowboat. I was going for a narrowboat. Well, not a narrowboat, it was a canal cruiser. And that's what I was going for. And I think it was my sister said, why don't you have a look at campers? And Sue, we've had campers before, and Sue said, oh, I'd love a camper. And that's what we did. So it was touch and go at the beginning of what we were going to get. We ended up with this SMITHY'S. Roy and Sarah, are you still magnet fishing? Well, the idea of the magnet fishing, if me and Sue... Right, the camera just switched itself off. I told you it doesn't record for that long, so I've had to just restart it again. I might do this video in two, you know, because it's going to end up being too long because we've got a lot of questions. So I might do it part 1 and part 2, if you don't mind. We'll see. Smithy, are you still magnet fishing? Paul and Sarah. Caravan something, can't see it. What the idea of the magnet fishing was, if me and Sue park in an area where there happens to be a canal, you know, and I'm walking the dogs and we've got tea on and we've nothing else to do, I can have a go, you know. That's what I've got it for. That's what I've got the metal detector for. That's what I've got all the things I've got that you know, it's just to use as we go around. Right. Sorry about that. So that's the idea of it. If we ever park anywhere, I can decide I might fly the drone. There might be some great land and a farmer there. Can I metal detect your land? Yeah, carry on. You know, I can. If we're in Scotland next to a river, I can go gold panning and all kinds. So that's the idea. Sorry, I'm getting messages at the same time I'm trying to answer the question. Captured by Kenny. Does your wife not give off at you buying so many gadgets? Obviously, she's not a materialistic girl at all. You know, when I showed you before bacon, eggs and potatoes, I really mean that is not a silly gift. I'm going to do the cooking. Sue's favourite all-time food, don't forget Sue's Irish, right? It's bacon, egg and chips. You know, if we went into the poshest restaurant on earth, you know, the Hilton in London, Sue would look at the menu and say, do you not sell chips and egg? But hey, I love bacon, chips and egg as well, so you know, that's why I showed you at the beginning. It wasn't such a daft suggestion, but I do the cooking. Alex from TTXELA, which is his sticker up there. To cut it down a bit, it was a bit big, but hey, he does some fantastic artwork, does Alex. Have you ever done any touring in Scotland? Yes, we have, mate. We've been 2 or 3 times in this van. First time we stayed at Loch Lomond overnight. We went just on the outskirts of Edinburgh. We stayed at Iron Bridge pub, and then the next time we went up the east coast over the Queen's Bridge. Yeah, I've been to Scotland a lot of times. We have very good friends and family there, so I've been going and holding lambs in my arms since I was, you know, 5 or 6 years of age. And so that's, you know, I love Scotland. Would you travel in France when COVID is over? To be fair, Peter, and I've said this before and I'm getting a stye, whatever you call it there, a cold sore. We have been to France a lot of times, me and Sue, and even before I met Sue, my mother took me to France a lot in Belgium. So I'm not really that bothered. If the next time I go to France in this motorhome, or whatever motorhome I've got, would be to drive through it to get to Gibraltar, because I love Gibraltar. So it would be France, Portugal, Spain, Gibraltar, and then back. And because I've done the Normandy beaches, I've done all the World War I battle sites, I've been to Paris, I've been all over the place in France. You wouldn't believe. This is why I say I'm not too fussed about not being able to get away all the time. I have been away with Sue, literally all over the world. And it's not a case of where have you been, it's a case of where haven't you been. We've been absolutely everywhere you can think of. I've been in pubs in America, I've said, I don't know what you sell, mate, but I could do with a pint or something. And this guy said, well, I went to London, I got this pint glass, so look after it. It was full of dust, he washed it and he got me a pint. You know, I've done all sorts. Peter. Oh, another question for Peter Ryder. Would you ever swap your Kontiki for a narrowboat? No, I love it. I love my Kontiki. If I had the money, I would buy one as well. Stephen Waff. And that's how you say his name. I remembered. Hey Smithy, have you got any more nice park ups around your area? I have, and you're going to see them, Stephen, because as soon as I get some time out, that's what I'll be doing. I said I'll be doing it, and I will be doing it, and I'll be showing you where you can stay, what you can do. You know, that's all to come, Stephen. My brain never stops ticking. Peter Ryder, have you ever thought of towing a small trailer for more room? Another question for Peter. Good question. I have an army box, believe it or not, which will go on my bike rack, and that's what I was toying with, the idea of fastening that on there so I can have all my outdoor cooking gear in it, you know. So that's, I don't want to tow a trailer. That's why we moved from a caravan to a motorhome, to be fair. I know some people, Posh Cat Camping, Trevor, he tows his car. I don't want to do that. You know, this motorhome's big enough for me. Although I used to be a bus and coach driver, so size is not the issue, but I would put a box on the roof or on the back, you know, I wouldn't mind that. My version. Do you have an inverter in your Kontiki at 150 watt? Stay safe, Mark, thank you. Pig's Adventures, would you consider living in your van? If circumstances were different and I had to go and rent a house for £600 or £700 a month, which seems to me to be absolutely pathetic of this country to do that. It's ridiculous that somebody else would live in somebody else's house and essentially pay their mortgage. Why can't the banks just lend that person the money and do it that way? It just seems ridiculous to me. So under them circumstances, I would 100% live in this motorhome on any bypass in this country, definitely. It's the most ridiculous way of living in a property that I have ever come across. And why, as a country, we have let this happen is beyond me. And let me tell you this, in years to come, everybody will be paying rent to Asda or Tesco, believe me, because they're buying up, not Asda and Tesco, but big companies are buying up property like you've never seen. Some of these MPs have got 200 houses. Why are you allowed to have 200 houses when there's a housing shortage? It's unbelievable. You should be allowed 2 at the most, a holiday home in your house, and that's it. That's my belief. A bit socialistic, but hey, I'm a working class lad from Lancashire. Janet Micklethwaite. You don't love that name. You can only be from England with a name like that. Hello Smithy, where do you and Susie hope to go for a longer trip in the Kontiki in the future? Just touring Britain. You know, we've been around so many places. I want to enjoy, you know, the actual old country that we're in. You know, Wales and Cornwall, and you know, we have toured a lot in England and Scotland and Wales, but that's what I want to do. Park up on the outskirts of a town, walk in and spend all day, me, Sue and the dogs, and just, you know, have a look at what's on show. I love taking photographs, you know, and that's the way I want to do it. I don't have the need to be going abroad anymore. We've done it so many times, we've flown so many times, you know, it doesn't bother me anymore. Hi Simon, you've seen you have many hobbies. Do you have any sea fishing? I don't have any sea fishing, and believe it or not, when I was younger, is that the last question? Paul and Michelle on tour, that's the last question. Let me tell you this, when I was about 14 I used to sneak out the window and my mates were going sea fishing, so I'd obviously go sea fishing. Well, we weren't sea fishing, we were boozing in one of the shelters on Morecambe Promenade. It was sort of throw a line out and then get some music going, which is an old crappy thing when the batteries ran out, that was it, after about an hour, and just get drunk all night. And then the next day he'd wake up and go see a mate and he said, did I have a fishing rod last night? I said, yeah, I think you did, yeah. And nobody would have a fishing rod, you know, they'd all be left on promenade because we just sort of worked our way home. Things you do when you grow up, you know, if you haven't been drunk in a field at 15 years of age, not knowing what you're doing, you have not lived. Take it from me. Hey, I hope I could do this video in one rather than in 2. I might just do it in 1, I don't care how long it is, but hey, stay safe, be lucky. I'll definitely see you again. Thank you for all the questions you've given me. You've absolutely blown me away. You know, the support of this channel is just, hey, what can I say? Thank you. From me, from my heart to you, thank you. And I really mean be lucky. Be lucky in life. Right, I'm going to go. I don't want to get emotional. See you soon.